Celestial Astrology with Scorpio. Scorpio is a time from October 23rd to November 21st. This is this time of, Halloween. And Halloween actually was a holiday created that was around the time of Samhain, which, if you're interested, definitely check out our Gaia Rhythms series, which will be sent out periodically throughout the year about the Sabbats, the cycles, the seasons changing throughout the year. So with this time of the year, there is really a time of fully dying, fully releasing, letting go of the old year. It's a time where we start going in, and it's also a very great time for us to be able to connect into the energies, for us to connect with ancestors, to connect with fairies. The veil is very thin this time of the year, and it's really this energy of being able to dive deep into the mystery. And so when we look at Scorpio, we are looking at the archetypal symbol of a scorpion. It is very much a penetrating deep force, and it's connected to the energies of Pluto and Mars. Pluto is about resurrection and rebirth, and so is Scorpio. Mars is very much a fiery energy, and Pluto is more of a water energy. Scorpio is ruled by the sign of water. It is a fixed sign, which means that that energy is going to be very fixed. To be very focalized, very concentrated, and this energy really is an opportunity for us to dive deep into the soul, into, let's say, the image I like to say is, you have an iceberg. You see the top of the iceberg, but it's so big underneath, and there's this like subconscious kind of going on here. That's Scorpio. I really have been able to, over a long period of time, embrace the Scorpio energy because I have Scorpio moon in the 4th house, which definitely Scorpio can feel very deeply, very emotionally. It can feel like a lot of this kind of almost fiery water energy, very cathartic, very intense energy, because it is literally like the phoenix dying and being reborn. So it can be very intense. We had, in most of, or all of 2018, we had Jupiter going through Scorpio, and then we additionally had the Venus going through Scorpio, in addition with it being in retrograde, and we had the retrograde also with Jupiter in Scorpio as well. And that really was a time that Jupiter, the planet of expansion, was actually expanding across the energy of Scorpio, putting the spotlight. Jupiter is like a spotlight, expands whatever it's touching, and it was in Scorpio. So it was really like going deep, deep, deep into our subconscious, deep into places of wounds, deep into the skeleton closet. Like all the shit was coming up for us to heal. And it was very intense and it was very cathartic. But when you start realizing, I don't like to put this emphasis on, depending our lives on astrology, but I do feel that with astrology, that it's very essential for us to realize that it can be a gift, it can be a tool, and we don't let astrology rule our lives, but we can utilize astrology actually to help empower us and help us guide us in our ways. And we learn, as my astrology teacher said, that that we basically don't let the astrology rule us. The planets, we don't just own them as our own. These are archetypal energies that run through the pattern of our own psyche, and with the psyche within our own life, and with these transit energies that help us to grow, to expand, to release, and to learn the lessons that we're here on the planet Earth. I really feel the divine energies of astrology and what they have to offer for us. So going back to Scorpio, it's definitely this place of deep, 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 deep intimacy. We're getting really deep with the most intimate parts of ourselves. Even if in our culture, we see like things like death and, the energies of, anything occult, anything, like anything that's super far out there that can kind of almost seem like taboo and like, ooh, like I wish I could do the little cross thing with my finger, but I'm actually holding my phone right now doing this video. I'm gonna get a a little stand for my phone to do these videos. But anyways, it's kind of like almost like that, like, the little cross or like the garlic. You're like, oh, I don't really want to deal with that energy. And what that's done is, like, any energies of the darkness, if we are avoiding that and we're like, oh, let's be all rainbows and sunshine. Well, what ends up happening is all that shit starts getting buried deeper and deeper. And it's an eventuality that at some point, some things will end up happening that end up kind of like letting the floods loose. So Scorpio can really invite us to do the work that's necessary, even though it's really hard. We have a lot of rewards that go with Scorpio energy. With the energy of Scorpio, it is in the 8th house, which is about other people's money, about sex, the occult. It's about death, and all those things that come with it. But there is a lot of magic and power in Scorpio, because this energy of Scorpio really is about this energy of the mysticism, the occult, the deep archaic knowledge that's available. I mean, I think I can speak a lot about Scorpio because I had the Scorpio moon in 4th house, and my whole life has literally been studying the occult, studying astrology, studying shamanism, studying paganism, studying alchemy, studying all these occult traditions and teachings, not just from a psyche point of view, but really from like a physical, going through these cathartic experiences. Even as one of my native elders, Zay mentions, I've gone through the blackening once. Yesterday he told me I probably will go through it at some point again. It's kind of part of the traditional medicine path, or the Westerns call it shamanic path. But let me tell you right now, I'll definitely say the medicine path, I would definitely say, is very scorpionic in some aspects of it, because it is a very, very fierce path. And, and I honestly, sometimes I'm like, when somebody's like, they're like, they're doing shamanic healing, their apprenticeship or something like that, and it's like kind of like a modern thing. I'm like, man, that's like, must be like a nice light breath of air, because this path is very intense, but it's very rewarding though. The Scorpio energy, when we learn to realize, diving into the darkness, diving into the depths of our soul, confronting our own psyche issues and challenges, our own patterns of sabotage, our own, wounds and things that we're creating within ourselves, and we face that, we actually can gain a lot of power from it. So Scorpio definitely can be this energy where we can find a lot of power, diving into the occult, diving into, magic, and really and truly, like, the idea like of it being painted that the cult is evil, I really feel that it's an interesting thing, because, part of the whole thing with the Crusades was for the church not wanting anybody to be in their power. So, they actually not only went after the witches, which some of those people were just herbalists. Some actually, a lot of them were the Roma people. I'm actually part Roma, or as Western world knows as Gypsy. If you're out in Europe, a lot of people know that there's a lot of persecution towards Roma people, and hate and like racism and stuff like that. But in America, people are like, oh, Gypsy. They're like, that's really cool. Because they're just so connected deeply to the earth. Same thing with Druids, same thing with Native Americans, same thing with Indigenous people, same thing with the people that were working with alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone, those people that were working with really the esoteric sciences, because really and truly, that occult energy is a very big place of power. So actually, in truth, this idea that if we can learn to learn the wisdom from death and the deep dark nights of the soul, and from all those really deep transits and experiences in our life that are very cathartic, we can actually gain a lot of power. So that's kind of what Scorpio has to offer for us. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I would like to share about this. Oh yeah, so I guess the energy of Scorpio, just to be mindful about, is there can be energies of how do I say this? It can get a little nasty, that sting of the scorpion sting, So with that energy, being shared, basically with the Scorpio, is that we just want to be careful about that sting. So it can sometimes really activate and trigger us and bring up really intense emotions. But my invitation is when we get that way and we feel really angry and pissed off, or we feel really emotional, we feel that intensity when we have really challenging situations in our life with circumstances and people, or even within ourselves, is to take the energy that could be very destructive and be harmful and turn that into a more of an alchemy. So it's that like that destructive force ends up becoming a place that we can heal dark places and use that for a catalyst and for transformation that can be beneficial rather than being harmful to ourselves and others. But again, Scorpio is an amazing energy that we can really cultivate and connect into, and definitely be sure to check out the other videos that we have here at our blah, blah, blah. Let's leave that part.
Thanks for watching my video. So if you want to check out my playlists, I have, among others, the Simon Necronomicon, the Tree of Life, General Magic, Tulpamancy, a playlist on my books, the elements, stones, the theories that govern magic, and the gods and goddesses of Mesopotamia. If you want to check out my books on Amazon, I have Creating Consciousness, Magical Mechanics, Magical Theater, Handy Sigil Magic, and The Guide to the Spheres and Beyond. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.